This is video number 30 in the playlist for 3D Experience CATIA Generative Shape Design. I'd like to talk about the thick surface or thickened surface, if you want, which basically creates a solid from a surface. And it can be done, this can be done in the generative shape design by making a volume, or in the part design by actually making a solid part. So this is the icon if you're doing it in a generative shape design by making a volume, and this is the corresponding icon if you're doing it in part design. So let's go through both of them. If you're doing it in generative shape design, if you select the volume tab, there is an icon here which says volume thick surface. And if you click on it, you get a dialog box like that, and certain things have to be filled out, which are reasonable. But these items at the bottom, the documentation is very unclear about what they mean, what they are. So really, you need a theory manual to see what's happening. Now, if you're doing it in part design, first you create your surface, then you move on to part design. And in the part design, under the model tab, you see something called thick surface. And the dialog box is exactly the same, and exactly the same comment applies. Now, what I've also done, I have copied and pasted the section of the manual, which seems to be reasonable, no problem here. But these items which deal with the section that I mentioned don't make sense. You really have to dig it out in the theory manual, which I don't have it. All right, let's go ahead and do that. First, let's worry about doing it in generative shape designs. Okay, first I'm going to do this thing in generative shape design entirely, and then once I create the surface, I'm going to take it to part design and repeat the process. We are in generative shape design right now, so let me sketch something. For example, something like that. The actual shape doesn't have any significance here, but I'll draw something like this. Exit. And then I'm going to extrude this thing to make a surface. And notice that we are in generative shape design here. Okay. Now, under the volume tab, there is this volume thick surface right there. You click on it, and the dialog box opens up. We're going to take that extruded surface. Notice that as soon as we went to the volume tab and tried to create a volume, it created an ordered geometric set for us, which is, we didn't do that, it'll do it automatically. Now, first offset, let me make this thing 7 or maybe 7 or 10 millimeter preview. Okay, so what happened is that it actually, I'm going to hide the sketch so that it just, let me close that, hide the sketch here so that it doesn't bother us. All right, double click. So as soon as we did that, it actually took these surfaces or the surface and moved it outward by 10 millimeter. Now, what we can do, we can select individual pieces and thicken them. For example, notice that here there is a sub-element. Incidentally, I can also do the, before I do that, you can also do the in. So you can do both inward and outward thickening, but I'm going to put this thing back to 0. Okay, good. This is what I did initially. Double click on this thing and notice that there is a sub element here. You can select the sub element and carefully go and select these faces. Make sure you select the inside surface, because notice that this is the outside. It's going to give us an error message, but this is the surface inside. Okay. And in fact, if it's bothering you, you can always hide this so that you see the surfaces, but I'd rather put it back where it was. Control Z. Okay. So what I'm going to do for sub element, cancel that, try it again. For sub element, I'm going to select this inside face. See that? Right there. There. Inside face. And there is an arrow here. See that? There's an arrow here. You click on it. It says this thing that you pick, what do you want to give it? Let's say we give this thing 4 millimeter thickness. And if I close this and preview it, notice that the thickness changes. Let's do another one. So I select another sub element. Again, make sure that you select the face inside faces, those surfaces. This is inside face, and click on the arrow. Let's say we make this thing 6 millimeter. Preview. Right. Okay. Let's try the one on this side. Another sub element. Inside face. Arrow. Make this thing 2. Close it. Preview. So this way you can actually change the individual thicknesses. Okay. Remember, you can do it inward, first offset outward, second offset inward, etc. Now, let me undo all of these. Let me actually just delete this order geometric set. Good. So now I'm going to do this whole thing in part design. We already need the surface. That's okay. We're going to switch to part design. All right. And under model, there is this thick surface. You click on it, the same story, same dialog bar. So first we select the whole thing. I put down 10 millimeter, preview, and right there. Now I can go and do individual things. For example, on the sub element, let me select the inside face here. Click on this arrow, and I'm going to change this thing, let's say, to 5. Yeah. And you can do other ones. For example, you can select this inside surface. And if you want another one, right there. All right. And click on the arrow. This one we're going to make, the second one we're going to make 2, 3. This one I'm going to make 1. Close that and preview. There we are. So exactly the same thing that we did in creating a volume, we are doing it in part design. There may be disadvantages of doing it in part design, but it's up to you. So let me, by the way, I can hide this surface. There we go. It's a solid object under part body, right? Not in a geometrical set. That's the, if you do it with volume, it's going to go into ordered geometrical set, and it's really not 100% a solid part, okay? It's a volume. That's pretty much it. Good luck.